Hello everyone, I'm Simon, and in today's tutorial I will show you how to recreate this cinematic title, which is inspired by the Quake trailer. Okay, so at the beginning we need to add our text 3D node and load it to the viewer. Then you can type your text, it could be any text which you want, and then change the font which you want, which in my case is Sweet Square Pro, and increase extrusion depth and bevel depth and bevel width settings, so something like this. Now we need to add texture to our text, and how to do that? We need to add a replace material node, and one more thing, you can open this tab by pressing shift space. So shift space, replace material, and here we go. And how to create materials in Fusion. We can do that in different ways, because there are four different nodes which allow us to create materials, but in my case I will use Cook Torrents node. Then our material will be this image, and this image is also linked in the description, so you can download it and use in your composition. I will copy my image from my earlier composition and paste it here. So here is my image, there is my material, and now I can connect my image with CookTorrents, and here we go. Here's our material. And to add more texture to our material, we need to add bump map node, and then connect our sun-baked image to the bump map, so it looks like this. And in the bump map we need to select high map, source image type, and in the high scale we can increase the texture, because look at this, if I choose bump map, it doesn't work properly, because if we want to use bump map source image type, we need to add before our bump map node one more node, which is create bump map. And now if we add if we connect our image with create bump map node, it processes it, and you see, it looks like this. And then if we connect it with bump map, it gives a true bump map to our node. But of course we can't manage our texture scale. So one thing that you can do is to add brightness and contrast, and change values, so it adds more texture to our bump map. But it's a harder way, but if you want to do it in the easiest way, you can just simply select high map mode, and then increase high scale, and it looks similar to the before. Okay, so now we can connect bump map with our Cook Torrents, and as you can see, it gives more texture to our material. And now we can connect our material with replace material node, so our text is textured. But how to avoid the stretching effect at the edges? It's really simple way to avoid that. Just go to shading panel in the text 3D node and uncheck use one material option, so it disappeared and works okay. And now one more thing, to increase the cracks on the text, we need to add after our image, we need to add transform node, which shortcut is XF. And now in the transform node we can scale it up, and as you can see, our text, our material is scaling up, and of course our cracks are more visible in our text. Okay, so this is our base, and now we can go forward. So add a new merge 3D, add a 3D camera, and add render node, and load it here, and this merge we need to load here. So now in the one important thing, in the render 3D node we need to change render type to OpenGL because it's faster and it uses our graphic card. And in the lighting panel, enable lighting and shadows. Okay, so now we can't see anything because our camera is inside the text. So move it backward, and here we go. It starts to look better, for sure, and change angle of view for something wider, like 55. And in this panel, in this viewer, we can click Ctrl G, a shortcut which opens guidelines, and we can center our text more properly and faster. Okay, so this is our final render, and why it's dark, because we need to add lights. So shift space, add point light to our merge 3D, and it's starting looking better. And one more thing, in this light we need to add decay, and it will be linear, so our light is more focused on the center of the text, because without the decay it's too white. Yeah, so to achieve this centered light, you want to add decay, something like this, and add one more backlight, something like this, and move it back so our edges are lighted too. And now we can go forward and add our background, but I want to light my background separately, and to avoid affecting my background by these two lights. So how to do that? We need to add a new merge 3D, and then to this merge we add shape 3D node, and as you can see, it's something like another composition, because this shape is alone, and it looks like this. And now if I move it back, maybe scale it up, for sure, because it's our background, load it here, okay, here we go, move it back, and now we want to light our background. So maybe name it BG background, and maybe here P1 and P2.1.2. Okay, always label your nodes, and now we can light our background. So shift space 3PL, which is shortcut for point light, and now merge was created, and now as you can see, we have light on our background, which is not affecting our text, yeah, because it's another composition, small composition inside composition, you know. Yeah, and now select this light and move it back, add decay, because now it's softer, and move down. Maybe in the back, one more thing, in the background node, we want to, in the material tab, we need to decrease intensity of specular to 0, so this light is softer and looks better. Okay, so something like this, and our bottom of our background is lighted right now, and now we can work on our colors. So I want to create this composition in dark green, blue colors. So in our background we need to add something like maybe like this will be fine. We can adjust it later. And in our text, after our image, we can add CC color corrector, which is CC shortcut, and in this color corrector we can also let me bring this material here so I will see it better, and we can adjust colors of our text material here, something like this. I think it will be fine. Okay, maybe it's too green, maybe something more to the blue. Okay, and here we go. It looks perfect. Now I want to add fast noise texture at our background. And how to do that? We need to copy our background node, paste it, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, BG2, and connect it to the merge 3D, something like this. And with that we can move this BG background, our second background, to the front a little bit, and connect our light to this background too, so this light affects this and this background and this background. And now we can add our fast noise texture to our background. So shift space, and there, here we go. There is our fast noise, and just some settings like scale it up, turn down details, and increase contrast, maybe something like this, and one more important thing, increase seed rate so it's animating right now, something like this, and connect this fast noise node to our background. So if I look at our render 3D, as you can see, our background is animating, and I want this animation to be in only at the bottom of our background. So how to mark off our area? We need to add a simple rectangular mask to our fast noise node, and now make it wider and increase height and move it down. So as you can see, it cut off our noise somewhere here. And one more thing, increase soft edge option, so it fades and it's not as harsh as it was. And now, as you can see, maybe turn the scale down, up, it looks like this. So I think it's okay. Maybe bring it all background, bring it down a little bit, something like this. Okay, and now it looks like this. And we want to add beauty effects, lighting on the edges and so on. As you can see, we want to add this lighting effects on the edges, yeah. So without and with this lighting effect on the edges. So how to do that? We need to render our text, which is in this small composition. We need to render this text out and then add our effects. So add render 3D node, and connect our merge with this node. And in our render 3D we need to change some settings and enable lighting and shadows. So OpenGL lighting shadows enabled. Yeah, that's it. And now after render 3D you can add filter node, which is a really great, nice effect. And in this filter node we want to choose Sobel type. So as you can see, it highlights our cracks and edges, and we can now we can compose it with the with our composition. And how to do that? We want to highlight our edges and we need to connect it after our render 3D node. Bring this merge to the viewer, and as you can see, it gives us highlighted edges, but it's too strong. So how to mask some of these areas with, of course, with fast noise node. So repeat, add our fast noise to the node tree and connect it with the filter. And as you can see, this fast noise works as a mask because it has alpha channel, and if it has alpha channel, it works like a mask. So where is more transparency, there isn't any filter effect, and where is less transparency, there is more Sobal effect. So adjust settings in this fast noise, like maybe detail, contrast, of course, scale, turn it up, something like this, maybe turn down brightness and increase it rate, so this mark will be animating and our lighting is dancing on our text. Yeah, and now let me see how it looks like. It looks like this, and now we can maybe turn it down a little bit, but it's not final highlight effect, because after the filter we want to add soft glow, and soft glow allows us to make it better, add more pop. So adjust gain, maybe turn up threshold to make this effect affecting only the brightest areas of our text render here. So only edges will be highlighted, and maybe turn down glow size, turn up, turn down, like you want, something like this. Play with the settings as long as you need. Okay, one more thing, there is too much light, so we have to move this light down, and here we go. It looks better right now, and maybe play with the threshold a little bit, so it looks like this. Okay, so now we want to animate our camera. So look at this. If I animate this camera, as you can see, we want to start in this place, then add keyframes. So right click and animate translate group in translation, and one more thing, move to the start of the timeline, and then animate translate group, and maybe at frame, we will finish at frame 200 and move camera to the front, so something like this. And of course we can animate our text, go to the text page, and keyframe our tracking, so it will start white, and when it's here we can set it back to 1, so we get our animation. Okay, so now we want to add some shape 3D objects between our camera and our text to fill this space a little more. So how to do that? Click this merge, select this merge, shift space, and add merge 3D, something like this, and add a new shape 3D, and connect it to this merge. So now if I change our shape 3D to the cube and move it to the front, as you can see, it's not affecting by these two lights, but if I add a new light, so select shape 3D and add point light to this shape, as you can see, I can light this object at 3D object separately. So move it where you want. I think there will be okay. Maybe decrease intensity because it's too strong, and I can choose color of this shape material for something like in this composition, so maybe something like this, and endless light. So it looks like this. And now we can, of course, rotate our text, place it where you want. I want it to be here. And now we can animate this object too. So select our shape 3D, go to transform panel of this shape, and click to the in this case rotation group and animate rotate group, and then go to frame where this shape disappears. So right here, as you can see, it's moving out from our viewer, and now I can rotate my shape something like this and something like maybe like this, maybe move it down a little bit. So as you can see, now when I play animation, it's moving rotation and rotating, and I can copy this shape and paste it here, and connect to this merge. And now if I place it at the other location, it's animated too, but it's on the other location, and maybe at the top right here, something like this. Maybe turn down the size and maybe place this light more on the upper side and something like this. Okay, and duplicate it one more time. So something like this. Connect it to the merge, and here we go. Or maybe scale it up. Okay, and now as you can see, the shapes are animating the same way, but of course you can animate it differently. Okay, so now is the time for final adjustments, final look. So load this merge to the viewer and add screen effect, which are lines, and how to achieve this effect. We can achieve this effect with plasma node. So add this plasma node after the after this merge, maybe organize it, and at the plasma we need load it to the viewer, of course, and at the plasma we need to set none type to the series 2 to 4, and at the series 1 we can turn down the scale for something like 0.4 or 3. And now at this merge we want to change apply mode to overlay, so it blends with our composition. Then we can, at the plasma node, we can move the center behind our viewer, and now we can go forward and add another effect, which is film grain. Film grain is really nice effect which I use all the time, and now we can add one more effect, which is camera shake, a little camera shake, and now it's too strong, so reduce deviation, randomness, overall strength, and speed. Maybe increase strength a little bit, like this. Play with the settings as long as you need, and one important thing, change edges to the wrap, so it wraps around the edges. Okay, and now before all of this nodes, you can add simply color corrector and maybe turn saturation down, and we can also change totally our color grading. So if you don't like green, you can go to red or something. So I will stay with green, but I will turn saturation. I want to turn saturation a little bit down. Okay, so that's everything for today's tutorial, and I hope you learned something new, how to compose, how to create cinematic title from the Quake trailer inside Fusion. And if you want to see more of these tutorials, I will be glad if you subscribe to my channel, share it, like it, and yeah, that's everything. Thank you so much, and see you soon.